Hello and welcome back to my vlog. So the Saturday before this was recorded, this week of training, I competed at the provincial qualifier meet that I needed to do, and I only went 2 for 6. I hit 105 kilos on my opening snatch and 137 kilos on my opening clean and jerk. I pulled out after my second clean and jerk was a miss because my shoulder was really bugging me. The week leading up to it was probably the worst week of training I've ever had, and because of that, I've really decided to work on a whole slew of weaknesses that I have. It's about time. I can't just continue to snatch and clean and jerk heavy weight and squat really heavy and expect to get better, so I'm going to work on all the weak points, and I've actually built myself a full-on program. It's accumulation based, tons of volume, and I'm going to stick to it. So the muscle snatches at the beginning were included because I have a pretty poor turnover on my snatch, and that causes me to miss weights forward and detach from the bar, doing a whole bunch of snatch pulls. I'm also getting back on training twice on Monday and Wednesday, once Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, in a bid to increase volume and frequency and get better. So these squats here, I've finally did the 6 sets of 4 at 175 kilos that I had alluded to many a time. They were pretty tough. I wasn't fully recovered from the weekend competing, but all in all, even though some of the reps felt harder than others, I knew there was never a chance that I was going to miss a rep, and I just kept pushing. So yeah, after this I did what did I do after this? A whole bunch of ab work, because I never do abs or lower back stuff, and I'm going to do that. I also never had ever done snatch balances before. A big weakness of mine is my stability in the bottom of the overhead squat and the snatch reception. So I'm going to be doing a lot to improve the stability down there. As you can see there, I'm all wobbly, and there's just about zero posterior chain activity. This was the first set. By the 4th set, I had figured it out a bit more, and I could really feel my glutes driving me forward into my hips, or into my feet, and posturing up my chest, and I think that'll be a useful exercise that I'm going to continue to implement as this 5-week accumulation block goes on. Now I'm doing the halting clean deadlift there to really memorize the shoulders in front of the bar position and relaxed traps that I need to have right as I initiate the second pull, and then worked up to 120 kilos for 4 doubles. They all felt easy in terms of the weight I was using. My legs were a bit tired from before, but that was okay. I have a very poor turnover on my clean. I let the weight crash onto me, as you saw there. That's something I'm also going to be working on improving. After that, I did 4 sets of behind the neck jerks at 120, and then more lower back work and some upper back work. Now Tuesday, I went back to CrossFit Bytown because Everett Sloan, the owner there, is a great dude, and he's going to let me train once a week or so. Really like that gym. I did 5 sets of power snatches at 85 kilos. I had to use pound plates, which always messes me up a little bit. Just psychologically, it really doesn't make a difference. It's the weight. I don't do powers very often. I'm not very good at them. And as one of the coaches at Just Lift, Ian Haya, multiple-time Canadian champion, has been saying to me recently, I must become one with the barbell. I too often detach from the barbell, so the powers are going to help me stay connected and turn over aggressively and become one with the bar. Now, I never do power cleans. It's probably, last time I did them was a few sets off low blocks on Christmas Eve day, and they sucked. Now, triples of power cleans is just absolute masochism. My hands were butchered from this. And even when I woke up to go to this session, I was so astonishingly sore. It had been a while since I had trained twice in a day, and instead of, like, I usually do pretty heavy weight. I work up to a max something every day. but just sticking with submaximal loads and doing tons and tons of volume for practice, it doesn't feel hard while you're doing it, but I was out of this world sore for this session. My legs were smoked. 6 sets of squats is quite a lot, but I've also discovered that I'm horrendous at power jerks. I missed the power jerk on the last 2 sets. I've forgiven myself. It was pretty much the first time I ever tried to do power jerks. Didn't go well, but the power snatches and power cleans, 5 sets each, good practice. Wednesday AM, got into the Carleton High Performance Center just enough time to do some snatch pulls. Did 5 triples at 110 kilos. These snatch pulls are probably some of the best I've done. I'm not doing a high pull, so I'm not focusing on using the arms at all. I just want to finish that extension with the legs by driving into the platform. And what I've really been trying to change about my snatch pull is finishing with a tall chest instead of leaning back. Pull up with it. Now after this I did 4 triples on front squats at 150 kilos, which is 330 pounds. And those were really hard. Again, I was super sore for this workout, still from Monday, and a combination from all the powers the day before. My hamstrings were actually sore from all those powers. Now Wednesday night, I went in and did tons of volume. Now this is only 75%, so I was moving pretty well with it. The snatch plus hang snatch is going to be useful for me because I need to keep that bar close to me as I come past the knee, so that's why the hang snatch is being included. Now if you see this first snatch, notice how the barbell drifts away from me right at the beginning. That's something I need to correct because that's going to lead me to miss the weight forward. But that snatch there was quite excellent, save for that little forward bar drift. Now here I throw my chest way too far back so the weight goes behind me. If that was an appreciable load, it would have kept going behind me. So that kind of goes against what I was practicing doing with snatch pulls. Now this is me being super awesome and mobile. I'm kidding. I don't have the greatest ankle mobility or thoracic extension, so I'm going to be including SOTS press or press from clean like that fairly often during my warm-ups. And it was easier than I thought it would be. I really did feel it mobilizing my ankles and moving them well. I'm moving them around pretty well. Now these clean and jerks at 125 were just stupidly difficult. My elbows weren't happy by this point. Still bending my arms on my clean and not turning the bar over very well. Lots to work on, but I'm hoping all this volume and all this practice will allow me to correct these things. At the very least, it's going to make me a lot stronger. Even though, I mean, this is 87% of my best clean and jerk, which is appreciable to, second session of the day, 5th session of the week on a Wednesday. I was exhausted by this point, and I didn't miss one clean and jerk, but none of them were pretty. And then I finished up Wednesday night session with some clean deadlifts. Actually, no, this is still a clean and jerk. Clean deadlifts will be seen after. Something I need to get better at on the jerk is pushing myself under the weight instead of just pushing the weight up. I'm relying on strength as opposed to technique too much. So the clean deadlift is a little bit distinct from a regular deadlift. You sink your hips down more, and you need to keep your head and chest really tall. This is just to strengthen the first and second pull of the clean. Even though you don't really initiate the second pull, you're bringing the bar into the position in which you will then extend the hips. Now, I stayed really tight on these, but they felt like a shit ton of bricks. It's been a long time since 200 kilos felt this heavy, but I like how tight I kept my low back, and my positions were okay.